You are listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with Steve Worsley, the toxic mold expert and your number one source for mold consulting and mitigation in the USA. Let's dive into a brand new episode.
Before we get started on this episode, here's a not-so-short disclaimer. While all attempts have been made to verify the content provided in this podcast, neither the podcaster nor the producers assume any responsibility for errors, omissions, or alternative interpretations of the issues discussed here. All information stated in this podcast is the opinion of Steve Worsley. Steve Worsley is a mold specialist with over 25 years of experience in the construction and mold industry. The Toxic Mold Podcast is for information sharing purposes only. The views expressed are those of the podcaster and his alone. These views should not be taken as expert instruction or commands. While there may be references to medical conditions and symptoms, all podcast episodes are the opinion of Steve Worsley, and any medical questions or concerns shall be addressed with the appropriate licensed medical professional or professionals. As the podcaster refers to different mold types, please be aware that Steve Worsley is not a microbiologist, and questions concerning mold specifics should be answered by the appropriate professional. Steve isn't, nor does he offer any legal advice. For any legal advice, you must speak to a lawyer. The listener is 100% responsible for his or her own actions. You can check out Steve's books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for author Steve Worsley. You can also take Steve's mold education courses, such as Mold 101 and the Mycotoxin Prevention Kit, by going to cnccontractorservices.com. Again, check out his mold education courses at cnccontractorservices.com. Now, let's get to the episode.
Hello, you're listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast. Myself, Steve Worsley, and we have my wife, Cassandra. How goes it?
Goes well.
9 months of winter has started.
Just about.
So we've been talking about, building components and the best things to use to prevent mold. Today we're going to talk about the flooring.
Yeah, which oftentimes hides mold really well.
Exactly. So if someone asked you and you were just talking to somebody at work or wherever, and they said, hey, I know your husband's a mold guy. What's the worst type of flooring I could put in when it comes to mold that would cause mold concerns? What would you tell them?
I would tell them the best flooring to put in would be tile. And I would tell them the worst would probably be wood, even though I love hardwood floors. Oh, carpet every time.
Yep. Carpet's something when we're dealing with remediation, or I have a, mold sensitive client that cannot detox the mycotoxins. First thing I tell them is get rid of all the carpet and pad.
Correct, because carpet is just a lovely jungle gym for mold.
It is, because if you think about it, you have the carpet fibers, and then below that you have the pad. Just think of all the stuff that's in there. You'd be surprised when we pull up carpet. I mean, sometimes it is just nasty.
Yeah.
But if you had some sort of water leaks or your dog was peeing, you wouldn't see that.
No, it'd be hiding in the carpet, underneath in the carpet padding, and then oftentimes below the carpet padding is a subfloor?
Yep.
That's wood or something in nature, OSB, something like
yep.
that. And so then you have multiple layers, including the carpet, where the mold can feed and grow.
Yeah, and depending on the house, we did, that federal job I did a few years ago, it had like 3 different layers of flooring.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And I had a project I was on this year in Colorado. They put another layer of subfloor down to cover up water damage.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon to, let's just say we see, LVP, we pull that up. And below that is, old linoleum. And then below that is original hardwood. And then below that's a subfloor. It's a disaster.
And it can hide mold really, really well.
Yeah. I don't remember when it was, but, back in like the 70s or 80s, they were putting carpet in kitchens and bathrooms.
Oh, yeah. It was a big deal in the 70s and 80s to have carpet in the
so
bathroom.
Comfortable. and so for our listeners that are like, well, yeah, but tile just feels so cold.
It does, I agree.
But you can put floor heat in,
You could rugs on top of the tile if you want to. But yeah, tile is not the most welcoming flooring, but it is probably the most mold preventive.
Yes. And So for our listeners, I explained why. The reason why I always recommend removing carpet and pad is just because of all the stuff that's in there. Mycotoxins, mold, endotoxins, skin fragments, pet hair. I mean, you could go on and on and on. And just think about that. Like, let's say you have little ones, when they run through the house, imagine what they're kicking up.
Well, lots of stuff. What do you think of people who do the concrete floors? I'm just thinking like barn-dominiums. There's a big craze about building a barn-dominium, and oftentimes the way they keep those barn-dos lower cost is the floor is like a shop
It is concrete, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in our basement, what's below this LVP?
Concrete.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, normally what they do is they come in and put an epoxy coating over it.
Okay.
So it looks good.
Yeah.
Or, they can try to paint it or whatever. In my opinion, that is the best flooring to have to prevent mold.
Okay. Huh. Why?
Because nothing can soak through that. So
okay.
if this basement flooded, where's the water going to go?
Nowhere. It's just going to stand over the walls.
The walls will soak it up.
Yeah, but it will
that's
not go.
problem.
It will not go on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what would happen on the level above us if it flooded?
Oh, it would go on the floor.
We have LVP up there, then we have a subfloor, and then we have floor trusses, and then we have the sheetrock that's the ceiling. That's why. Imagine if the floor above us was polished concrete.
Yeah, exactly. It would be protective.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And, I get the whole, it's not warm filling. When we're talking about this basement floor, the only way you would have to put radiant heat in when they were pouring the actual slab.
Correct.
It would be a lot more difficult. Now, let's say we're talking the main level above us. If we were to remodel, we only have one bathroom there. So let's go upstairs to like our master bathroom. It has the LVP.
Yes.
If we were to remodel that, you could actually put an electric, it's just this mat that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. You obviously have to have an electrician that does the wiring. But you could put that electric mat on.
Oh, okay.
And literally just like a thermostat, turn it on.
Wow. So literally concrete with epoxy is probably the best flooring for mold prevention.
Exactly.
Followed by tile.
Yeah. I used to pour concrete when I first started my construction, and we did a lot of flat work. You could have the bathroom stamped.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. There are things you can have done, but it's always just the money that's involved.
Well, what do you say to people who are already in a home? They've already purchased a home where
they have, something like that over there.
Yeah, their flooring is not ideal. Like they do have carpet in the bathroom because they bought a home that was built in 1971, or they do have vinyl flooring because the house is 30 years. Like, what do you say to people who are in a situation right now where their flooring is not ideal for mold prevention?
Well, I would say wait till you have a moisture intrusion event and get the insurance to pay for it. But you tear out, let's just say, like you said, it's vinyl. So linoleum's probably what most people think of. There are those vinyl squares, but those are not from 20, 30 years ago. I would, when you have a moisture intrusion event, reach out to your insurance company. You're going to remove that vinyl flooring. When you get below that vinyl flooring, what's going to be below that? The subfloor.
Yeah.
You would assess that, make sure there's no water damage to it. If there is water damage to it, replace it.
Okay.
Once you replace it, you can put tile down. So you put Durrock down. Let's say you wanted to put ceramic tile. The Durrock plus the ceramic tile would be non-cellulose materials. Mm-hmm. So you should be okay. I want to backtrack a little bit though. On the subfloor, I would put a waterproofing material on the subfloor.
Okay.
Which Kiehl's is the cheapest, but it's not the best. Mm-hmm. We use what's called Aftershock. It's a more expensive. It's just paint. For our listeners, it's a paint.
Okay.
So you put that waterproofing down, then you'd put your Durrock down, then you'd put your ceramic tile down. If you think that's going to be too cold, you can put that heat right above the Durrock that would heat the floor itself.
Okay.
What I wouldn't do, like there's even a cork flooring, which if you think about that, corks are pretty waterproof. They come in the top of your wine bottle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But on the other hand, if you don't install it properly or maintain it properly, that's probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
To answer your question, you can put all sorts of different types of flooring down. Just don't put carpet in there.
Okay, so carpet is the really big no-no. So how can our listeners prevent mold concerns as it relates to their flooring? Like, let's say they've got flooring in there, but what do they do to ensure that they're not contributing to mold being there?
Well, routine maintenance and inspections, I say this all the time. So our listeners are probably like, you always talk about that. But, depending on the type of flooring, so we have LVP in here. Do you see it, like, in any of the bathrooms, do you see any issues with them?
Sometimes they creak.
Well, besides that, like,
Yeah.
are any of them buckling?
No, not yet.
Because we maintain them.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things is if your kids are splashing in the tub, you need to correct that behavior because they're going to cause mold issues. And I hear it all the time. I say it to my clients all the time. I'm like, you've got to correct that behavior. Well, of course, what do they say to me? Kids will be kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at them, I'm like, and mold will be mold.
And it will cost a lot of money. So it's really about making
cleaning
sure
up those,
yes, that you're paying attention and
exactly.
you're being proactive.
Yeah. And, just pay attention, like I said, to it. Like if it's LVP, that's pretty much maintenance free. If it's tile, make sure you check the grout, make sure it's sealed, make sure the tiles are sealed. It's usually just a clear coat you put down.
Exactly.
You can call your tile guy and say, hey, how often do I need to reseal my tile and my grout? And if they say never, then that's probably a concern. Even concrete over time has to be resealed.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's simple. Just pay attention to it and, do whatever you have to do to maintain it.
Absolutely. So routine inspections. What's your call to action for people?
So I just said it. If your kids or yourself or your spouse or someone, your dog is spilling water from their water jug, like correct that behavior. If it's your dog with the water jug, what do we have?
Oh, an anti-spill mat.
Yeah. It's a waterproof mat that has sides that come up a few inches. Mm-hmm. I think they're designed for wet boots, but do things like that. Like put preventative measures in place to prevent that. You can buy water alarms. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. So we have, what's the website where my courses are?
They're hosted on Thinkific.
Thinkific. You would think I would know this. But we have a course on Thinkific. I have more I'm working on. Our listeners hear this all the time. I always have a whole list of things I'm working on. You can go to Thinkific.
You out sometimes to Thinkific, but you will always know on CNCcontractorservices.com.
But that reminds me, I think maybe it only goes to you to me. We have to check and make sure.
Yeah, but Mold 101 they can purchase and they'll get access.
Yeah, that's a digital product.
Yes.
But Thinkific, they can get to that I'll put the link in the episode thing.
Yep.
But that's where we're trying to migrate everything.
Absolutely. Everything will eventually live in Thinkific for education.
Perfect. All right. Well, we appreciate all you listeners. Have a great week.
Thanks for tuning in. Would you like to get a handle on mold in your home? What it is, how to spot it, and what to do next? If you said yes to that, the Mold 101 bundle is your all-in-one guide. Packed with self-assessment worksheets, a workbook, video walkthroughs, and expert audio coaching, this digital bundle gives you the tools to protect your home and your family. Visit cnccontractorservices.com/the Mold 101 bundle and get started today. Again, visit cnccontractorservices.com/the Mold 101 bundle and get started